Morning, students. So today we are going to discussing about intermediate first year botany unit 1 chapter 1, that is the living world, 4 marks question answers, and let us discuss. So most important, one of the 4 marks question will come in examination level, from which in first chapter. So here the first question is what is meant by identification and nomenclature? How is the key help in the identification of a classification of an organism? So we know the plants and animals in our locality by their local names. So commonly we can say that some of the plants which are present in our surrounding with their local names, like neem tree, brinjal, tomato, mango. But these local names are will be confused in different areas when you use. So they may vary in different areas of in our country as well as in other countries also. So that local names vary from location to location within a country. So due to this single name may be used for different plants, or a single plant may have different names. So to eliminate this confusion, because of local names are different in different areas, to terminate this confusion, it is need to standardize the naming of living organisms, such as that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature or naming. So because of not to confuse with the local names, we have a particular a standardizing name to that particular plant or animal and a human being. So giving that standardized naming for the living organism for not to confuse, that is called nomenclature. So we can say simple definition. Giving name to the organism is called nomenclature. But what type of name we are giving here? A standardized name, nothing but a scientific name. So previous by the local names, we will be confused. Why? Because local names are different in different countries. But the scientific name of organism, wherever you should go, the same name will appear to the particular organism. For example, mango is there in our state, mango in other state, other name in other state, other name in our India. But this is the common name of mango. But when you take that is Mangifera indica, it is the scientific name. Wherever you should go, that is districts, states, country, and other countries. Wherever you should go, the scientific name is Mangifera indica. Only they may call, so they won't be confused. So by the local names are nothing but common names. By the common names will be confused, but scientific names will not confuse. So giving scientific names to the organism is nothing but nomenclature. ఒక మొక్కకి లేక ఒక జంతువుకి లేక ఒక మానవునికి ఒక సైంటిఫిక్ నేమ్ లేక పేరు పెట్టడాన్ని నామన్క్లియేచర్ లేక నేమింగ్ అని అంటాము. సో నామన్క్లియేచర్ ఈస్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ ఏ సింగిల్ వ్యాలిడ్ సైంటిఫిక్ నేమ్ టు an identified organism. So nomenclature Our naming is possible only when the organism is described correctly and accurately. This is called identification. We have another word. Whenever newly, newly existing organism are newly described or accurately described organism is called identification. So here identification is nothing but the determination of whether the collected organism is entirely new or already known. So identification is to determine whether collected organism is entirely new or already known. Whatever we identified the organism, either it is previously existed or it is a new one. That is, so in this plants, identification is done directly comparing the characteristics with an authenticated specimen or indirectly with the help of a keys. Those are taxonomic keys. So keys should play major role. Keys are nothing but contrasting characteristics expressed in a pair called couplet. So already we discussed in 2 marks question answers. The contrasting characteristics expressed in a pairs. So for example, given a plant, either it is a dwarf or tall. One plant is there. That plant either it is a tall or dwarf. So these two characteristics are by expressing their single character. That is what plant. It's a height. Either it is a dwarf or tall. So that the contrasting characteristics are expressed in pairs is called couplet. So this results in accepting one and rejecting the other. So in which only one we should take that from both of them. One we should accept one characteristics is accept, another one is reject. Ultimately identifying the plant. So for example, roots taproot not fibrous. Roots tap roots not fibrous. Leaves with reticulate venation not parallel. Leaves with stipules, leaves without stipules. Leaves with parallel venation. So roots are fibrous. Leaves with parallel venation not reticulate. Plant P. Leaves with reticulate venation, plant Q. So here plant X leaves with stipules. Plant Y leaves without stipules. So regarding to this, it describing the stipules, the same characteristics, either present or absent. That is the reason the present one is called X plant. The absent one is Y plant. So both we should call a pair of contrasting characteristics. It is couplet. So here also roots are fibrous, but leaves are parallel venation, not reticulate. So nothing but a P plant. So only reticulate venation plant is the Q. So both are indicating that venation. Venation is the common characteristics. Venation is nothing but the arrangement of the veins, venlets in the leaf is called venation. Venation means, for example, this is the leaf. When you take, this is the leaf. So this is the midrib. This is the midrib. And to the midrib, another veins are come. Another veins. To the veins, venlets are should come. Venlets. So midrib, veins, venlets. Like this, if it is present, reticulate venation. Reticulate venation. But in some of the plants leaves, when you take here, parallel venation, when you take the leaf, now I will show you here, parallel venation. Now I will show that parallel venation. So there will be no like this, veins will be parallel from up to the, from petiole to the that apex part, parallel side by side veins are present. This type of venation is called parallel venation. This type of venation is called reticulate venation. In this way, both are venation only, but parallel venation and reticulate venation. Venation is nothing but arrangement of the veins, venlets in the leaf is called venation. So in this way, we can use the taxonomic keys, that is couplets, for identification of and giving name to that plant. Giving name to that plant is called nomenclature. Whatever organism is determining, either it is existing or new one, that is called identification. Very simple definition. Now, what are the taxonomical aids? What are the taxonomical aids? And give the importance of herbaria and museum. This is most important in examination level. This is most important for accurate identification. For accurate identification and classification of an organism, plants require intensive laboratory and field studies. Any device that assists or help an identification and classification of the plant is called taxonomical aids. Taxonomical aid. So any item or the any device or the anything which is help to the for the classification and identification of organism is called taxonomical aid. Means the aid which is used to identify and classification of plants is called taxonomical aids. Such taxonomic aids are usually herbaria, museum, herbarium museum, and botanical gardens. Herbaria, museum, and botanical gardens. These are the most useful for the identification and classification of plants. By the herbaria, by the museum, by the botanical gardens, we can easily identify, classify the plants. For this, collection of actual specimen of plants or animal species is essential. This is the prime source of taxonomical studies. So the actual specimen of plant animal species is essential for the uh, source of taxonomical aids. to determine the identification, and the specimen is directly compared with an authenticate specimen already described and identified earlier. So here to determine its identification, అంటే కొత్తగా కనుగొన్నటువంటి ప్లాంట్ ఆల్రెడీ కొత్తగా చూసినటువంటి ప్లాంట్ ఆల్రెడీ ఉందా లేకుంటే లేదా అనే దాని కోసం ఇక్కడ మనం డైరెక్ట్గా బొటానికల్ గార్డెన్లో కానీ హెర్బేరియంలో కానీ మరి మ్యూజియంలో కానీ దానికి సంబంధించిన ఏమైనా ప్లాంట్స్ ఉంటే మిగతా ఇంతకుముందుకు ఐడెంటిఫై అయినటువంటి ప్లాంట్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు దానికి అథెంటికేషన్గా స్పెసిమన్ ఆల్రెడీ డిస్క్రైబ్డ్ వన్ ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ ఎర్లియర్. సో దానికి పోలినటువంటి ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ని మనం ఫ్రంట్లో పెట్టుకొని కంపేర్ చేయాలి. సో ఇది ఆల్రెడీ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అయి ఉందా లేకుంటే కొత్తదా ఉందా అనేటువంటిది. సో ఇక్కడ మెయిన్గా వచ్చేసి హెర్బేరియం. సో ఆల్రెడీ యు నో దట్ హెర్బేరియం ఈజ్ ఏ స్మాల్ booklet which containing a long square shaped papers and which is having at right corner detail left the corner of the left side for plant information. So it is the main important storehouse of collected plant specimens that are dried, pressed and preserved on seeds. So already you've seen. Now I will show that. Now I will show. Now I will show that already you know that herbarium sheet. This is the herbarium sheet, and it is a one long paper, A3 size paper, and which is having in left side there will be a corner for to writing whatever you identified the plant. For example, the identified plant we must before attaching to this one, you have to keep that plant in a old books to press and dry and preserve. After completion of 1 week of the time, that dried plant or pressed plant you have to take out and carry and attach it to the with the help of white plaster onto the sheet, herbarium sheet. Now this is the herbarium sheet and this is the plant you have to attach, and it at tape. Here you should write details. What is the common name, what is the scientific name of that plant, and where you collected that plant, by which whom you collected, and the date to time of that collection of that plant, total information which contain the herbarium. So here already I said these sheets are arranged according to universally accepted system of classification. So these specimens along with their description on herbarium sheets so become a storehouse or repository for future use. The herbarium sheets also carry a label providing information about the date, place of collection, and English and English names, local names, and botanical names, nothing but scientific names it has. So their family, order, phylum, collector name, and herbarium serve as a quick referral system in taxonomical studies. And also we can see another type of taxonomical aid which is useful to identify the new species, that is museum. So already in museum all are the dead plants, dead remnants plants already once upon a time lived and died plant spots are available in the museum. Those parts are useful to compare the newly identified plant, so that museum should play a major role to identification of new plants. So museum have the collections of preserved plant animal specimens for study and references. Specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solutions. Plants, animals specimens may also be preserved as a dry specimens. Museum like herbarium serve as a referral system for taxonomical studies. So museum also helps to for the identification of new plants. Why? Because it has more information about previous previously identified plants information, so that these taxonomical aids, that is herbarium, museum, most essential for the identification of plants and animals. So now the fourth one. So define taxon. Define taxon and give some examples. Define taxon and give some examples of taxa at a different hierarchical level. Different hierarchical level. So classification involves hierarchy of steps. Hierarchy of steps. In each step represent a rank or category. Each of these categories referred as a taxon. So classification involves here hierarchy of steps. So each step represent a rank or category. So each of these categories is referred as a taxon. For example, division is one taxon, class is one taxon, order is one taxon, family is one taxon, genus is one taxon, species is one taxon. So all these are nothing but hierarchy of steps. Hierarchy of steps. Each step contain a one rank or category. Each rank or category in a sentence or in a is category or rank is called taxon. So in plant classification, highest taxon is the plant kingdom. Highest taxon is the plant kingdom, and the hierarchy of the plant kingdom is like this. So plant kingdom is the highest one, and go to the down. The lowest one is the species. So for example of different hierarchical levels here, already I shown here. Next to go to the table which was given. Now here let us take about common name, common name, biological name, genus, family, order, class, division. So now let us take mango. It is a common name. The scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica. And the genus is the Mangifera. Species is the indica. Species is the indica. Family Anacardiaceae. Order Sapindales. Class Dicotyledonnae. Division Spermatophyta. Whereas P, it is Botanimoca. Common name is P. Scientific name is Pisum sativum. Pisum is the genus. Sativum is the species. It belongs to Fabaceae family and it belongs to order Rosales and belongs to class Dicotyledonnae and belongs to division Spermatophyta. Already you know that Dicotyledonnae and these plants seeds have two carpels. Spermatophyte means seeds bearing plants. Seed bearing plants, sperm producing plants means nothing but gametes. Okay, here seed Spermatophyta. So here tomato, Lycopersicum esculentum is the scientific name. Lycopersicon is the genus. Solanaceae is the family. Polymoniales is the order. Dicotyledonnae is the class. Spermatophyta is the division. So when you take about onion, the scientific name is Allium cepa, and Allium is the species Liliaceae family, Coronariae order, and when you take monocotyledon class, Spermatophyta is the division. So this is the table is most important in examination level in competitive also. So that you have to keep in your mind this box is most important about scientific names, genus, family, order, class, and division. Next, go to the fourth question. So the fourth question is how are botanical gardens are useful in conserving biodiversity, and define the term flora, manuals, monographs, and catalogs. Here, botanical botanical gardens, botanical gardens are specialized gardens that have collections of living plants for reference. So plant species in these gardens are grown for grown for identification purposes. Each plant is labeled indicating its botanical and scientific name, its family. So the famous botanical gardens are at, this is most important, already we discussed in 2 marks question answers, and once again, the biggest botanical garden present at Kew in England, and also another in our Indian Botanical Garden, Howrah, and at National Botanical Garden Research Institute at Lucknow. So these are the most botanical gardens. These gardens are useful for the identification of new plants, and also conserving of biodiversity, conserving of variety kind of plants which we can say developing in these gardens. So the whatever the botanical garden which is present in England, it has a variety kind of plants grown in there in that. So as many different kinds of groups of plants are grown here, protected environment, these gardens conserve biodiversity of that plants. So flora, it is most important here. Flora. Flora, already I said, when you say in brief, flora is the group of plants, but it is a small book. It is big book which consists of actual account of plants habitat distribution and systematic listing of a given area. Systematic listing of a given area. So flora, which describes the actual account of the habitat, actual account of the habitat and the distribution and a systematic listing of the given area. These provided the index of the plant species found in particular area. Next here, manuals. Manuals are the small booklets which containing information for identification of the name of species found in an area. So monographs contain only any one of the taxon regarding to the only one type of plants, so that these three, and when you go to these three most important manuals, monographs, and flora, these are useful to determine the newly identified plants. These are used for information about these are having particular information regarding to the plants. Next, another important one, catalog. So it consists some more plant information, including names and classification, and flora, manuals, monographs, catalogs are means of recording descriptions. They help for identification. They help for identification. These are help to the for correct identification. This is most important. You have to keep in our mind. So now I will draw once again. Flora, manuals, monographs, catalogs. These are the small and big booklets which containing plants information. These are used to for correct identification of the plants. So now we are going to discuss about fifth question, most important in examination level. Already it came a number of times, and already you know that in lower classes onwards you studying. Explain binomial nomenclature. So here bi means two, nomial means nomenclature means name. So giving name to the organism, that is giving of two names to the one organism is called binomial nomenclature. So giving two names to the newly identified organism is called binomial nomenclature. Now let us go to the, so biologists follow universally accepted principles to provide scientific names to known organisms. So many of the scientists have decided to give the name, particularly scientific names to the newly identified the plants. So each one having two components, each name having two component. The first component is the generic name. The second component is the specific epithet. Specific epithet. Though this system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. The system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. So this naming system given by the Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus is being practiced by the biologists all over the world. This naming system is using two-word format. Two-word format was found is convenient. Let us take the example of mango to understand the way providing scientific names better. The scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. So let us see how it is binomial name. In this, Mangifera is the genus. Mangifera is the genus, while indica is the species. Mangifera is the genus. Mangifera is the genus. Indica is the species. A specific epithet or a specific epithet. Species Mari specific epithet. So other universal rules by the naming as follows. So we have to follow certain instructions while giving nomenclature to the plants. So these most important in examination level. Let us go to the, what are the most important characteristic features of giving two names to the organism. Number one, the scientific names or the biological names are generally in Latin. So we have to write always scientific names in a Latin, but the slant is italics. The slant is italics. So which language we have to write scientific names? Latin language. So in which type of writing means italics? Means just a slant like this, exactly like this, just a slant. They are Latinized if they are from the other language. The first word in biological name or scientific name represent is the genus. So here let us take here Mangifera is the first word in a scientific name of mango is called genus. While the second component denotes the specific epithet. Here indica is the specific epithet. Both words in biological name when handwritten are separately underlined. If you write with the hand, we can underline it. We can underline it like this. We can underline. And italics to indicate the Latin origin. So these are the main characteristic feature which are while keeping the binomial nomenclature means one while keeping name to the organism, that is two components it has one name, that is called binomial nomenclature. So with this 4 marks question answers are completed in first unit, first chapter, the living world.